Be honest. Be honest. Were you paying close attention to Ukraine in 2014? We weren't. Most people weren't. And as a result, this country got dragged, without even knowing it, into one of the pivotal conflicts in modern history, to our grave disadvantage. The question is, how did Ron Paul, former congressman from Texas, how did he get that right? How did he know that? Why did he know to pay attention to Ukraine? And not just Ukraine, to monetary policy, to the state of our economy, to the state of our country, to the state of the West. How did he know before the rest of us knew? Maybe because his principles haven't changed in about 60 years. But how do we liquidate the debt?
The market will liquidate it. And the way the market liquidates it is what they'll demand is like the person that wants $50 hourly wages.
Yes.
You print money. And every time you print money, the value of the dollar goes down. So the value of the debt goes down. You just a theoretical thing. If you double the money supply and prices go up 50%, it doesn't work that way. But if you do that, the real debt goes down. So it's a theft. It's a tax. It's evil.
So you inflate your way out of it.
But the ideas make all the difference in the world. I mean, I look at the need for the ideas on how our country came about. You know, Thomas Jefferson and others that knew exactly what they were talking about. But we don't have many Thomas Jeffersons around anymore. So, but there's more people. There are influence there, but there are more. But the underground, you know, the silent majority, the remnant. You know, I believe in the remnant both in a philosophic and a religious sense.
Started to dawn on a lot of people, even people who are not paying attention, say 6 months ago, that the war in Ukraine is a big deal. It's not what they told us it was. It's not good for Ukraine and the people who live in that sad country. And it's not good for the United States or, for that matter, for the West. In fact, it's likely to be, in retrospect, a turning point in the history of the West and not for the better. Who could have seen this coming? Who could have known, say, 10 years ago that actually U.S. activity in Ukraine was not an effort to bring freedom to the Ukrainians, but was actually a massive intel operation designed to draw the United States into war with Russia for reasons that are even now not clear? Who could have seen that? Well, actually, one person did see that 10 years ago, and that person was Ron Paul. But don't take our word for it. Here he is in 2014.
Speak more from the perspective of the United States taxpayers, and it doesn't serve our interests. We've already spent $5 billion over the last 10 years trying to pick and choose the leadership of Ukraine, and then we participated in the overthrow of the Yanukovych government, and this is when this recent stuff really stirred up. But we've been involved too much, and I take a non-interventionist foreign policy position. It's not our business. It doesn't serve anybody's interests. It's part of the same thing that led us into the disaster in the Middle East. So a lot of people die, and a lot of money is spent, and we're still suffering the consequences of the war in Iraq and Afghanistan.
So I'm very impressed. Young people have a more open mind, and sometimes with a blanket accusation, which I should be cautious with. I'd much rather talk to young people who are curious than the people who belong to the Chamber of Commerce.
I agree with you.
Because the Chamber of Commerce people symbolizes the lobby.
Of course they do. And they have economic interests that prevent them from thinking honestly. I had that experience. I was just saying off air at one of your speeches probably 20 years ago.